Now we remember that snow peas need a trellis, right? Because they're going to make a vine. Now what we're going to do is we're going to put one snow pea at the base of each arm of every trellis in these beds, right?
So do we just make, like, put your
Just
finger?
make a hole, punch your finger down. Remember that I said that it should be about, the seed should be about the length of your fingernail under the soil. So when you punch your finger down, then you want the top of the seed to be covered by just about the, yeah, exactly. Just about that much soil, right? Every corner of every trellis.
So one here, you got it? So like 4 per trellis.
Now bush beans, now let me show you that these bush beans are purple. Why do I want to plant purple beans? Beans are often very hard to see, and if you don't pick them on time, they can get woody and tough. But these beans turn purple when they are perfectly ripe and ready to pick. So if you want to plant beans and you don't have a lot of time, or your eyesight is not so good because you're a little bit nearsighted or farsighted like I am, then if you plant purple beans, all you have to do is just glance over and look for purple, and you're going to see exactly when your beans are ripe, and you'll pick them when they're perfect. Also, the purple color, if you don't boil them and steam them, and you eat them fresh, chopped up in salad, they have a lot of antioxidants in them. Those antioxidants can be killed by heat, but if you eat them fresh, chopped up in salad, they're going to give you a lot of extra nutrition.
But you can't cook them.
Oh, you can cook them. You can cook them, and they'll just be like all the other beans. And so what we're going to do with the beans is we're going to put them on the edge of the bed, about the same depth, about to the first knuckle of your finger, all along the edges of the bed. All right.
So all along here.
All along there.
Now these are a bush, right?
They're a bush bean.
How far apart do you put it?
And it's okay planting all these different seeds and stuff in one?
Yes, it is. It is perfectly okay.
How far apart do you put those trees from each other?
The beans, these are very small bush beans. I usually put them about 6 inches apart, about half a foot. She's done it before. All right, now carrots. Let me get some more carrots. These carrots, what we want to do with these carrots is we want to rake away and fold away the soil in a section. So we want to move away the soil, some mushrooms. We want to move away the soil in a section.
Thank you, ladies. Good job. With this, Maggie? Move with
Yeah.
this?
Yeah.
So, like, kind of flat?
Yeah.
You've already done that one, right?
We're good. All right.
So where did you let off from?
And even it out.
I don't know where to start.
And now we can take that pitchfork or a rake,
Sure.
and we can just put in some little grooves.
Like the tines?
Like just using the tines, just put
How
in
deep?
some little grooves. Very, very shallow.
Like that?
That will help keep the original seeds in rows.
Okay.
Some more on this next to it.
Now I don't know whether to go all along here or what.
Just keep going
I
that
think
away.
They put something there. I'm not
Okay.
sure.
No, only at the supports.
girls
You
put
can
their
keep going in
Oh, over
between.
here.
Yeah, in between all the supports is fine.
Okay.
So.
So are those guys
Yeah,
They
the
don't give
carrot
you a lot,
seed.
huh?
Well, this is a package that was already open.
Oh, okay.
So I have the other one.
Gonna say,
But
we
the
got
carrot
this
seed
one.
is very tiny, and make sure your fingers are as dry as they can be. And just, you're still going to have to thin them, but if you can get one or two of them at a time right along that little row that you've made.
Can you make your own seeds at home?
You can make your own seeds at home, but what you have to do
I'll get this end.
what you have to do is look for what they call heirloom varieties. Okay? Now, and the words open pollinated.
What? Sorry, what was that, Meg?
Open pollinated.
Open pollinated?
Open pollinated. An heirloom variety is something that was in existence before they started a lot of hybridization. Okay? So a lot of the varieties they grow now are only the way they are because they're a cross between two specific parents. And any seed you get from them is going to be totally different from the fruit you just ate or the vegetable you just ate. An heirloom, an open pollinated variety, is something that comes true to seed generation after generation, no matter what it's been pollinated by. And therefore, the vegetable you eat, if you let that vegetable grow to seed, you're still going to get the same plant when you come back and plant the seeds from that next year. Most people don't save seeds for carrots because they require 2 years to produce seed. So you would have to leave the carrot in the ground for next year, and in our climate, I mean, you can do it up north, and I've done it up north, but in our climate, it's not going to survive till next year. You'd have to grow it in a pot and take it inside your house or something like that and keep it under air conditioning and maybe put some ice on it, some kind of complicated stuff. It's easier to get carrot seeds. But you can save tomatoes. If they're open pollinated variety of tomatoes, you can save the seeds of tomatoes from year to year and propagate your own tomatoes, and also peppers, especially hot peppers, are really easily propagated from seed that you save and keep from year to year.
What about herbs?
Some herbs that go to seed here do very well. There are some herbs that simply don't set seed well here. Lavender, for example. Lavender, even if you get a lavender plant growing pretty well, it won't set seed here. Okay? True tarragon, not Mexican tarragon. Mexican tarragon will go to seed. True tarragon is like breadfruit. It's propagated from root cuttings. Don't bother to wait to let it go to seed. It's not going to go to seed and produce true tarragon. You grow it in pots, but if you separate it and divide it, you can divide it out until you get a lot of tarragon. It's also the best way to propagate ginger. Ginger propagates very well here. It will flower, it will set seed, but you're far better off just dividing the roots and propagating it. As far as now, rosemary, I've never successfully set seed from rosemary here because it requires stratification. It needs to be, you need to put it in sand, damp sand, and put it in a Tupperware container and put it in your refrigerator for a couple of months before the seed will germinate, because it will only germinate after a cooling period.
Have you tried lettuce? Because I tried with lettuce.
Oh, lettuce will grow, it'll come back over and over again. It'll be looser.
Right.
It'll normally be looser in the next generation. The other thing that does very, very well is all of the mustards, particularly the Japanese mustards, and the kales. Any of the kales and collards, they come very well from seed, and they propagate very well from seed and will come back again and again. The other thing that comes very well from seed is the choys, the bok choys, the pak choys, all those nice little Chinese cabbages. The heading cabbage that we have, because of the heat, makes small heads here and doesn't flower well and come well from seed. But all those Chinese cabbages, those little bok choys and pak choys, they come very well from seed. They'll seed themselves in, they'll come back again and again. A little hint about cabbage. If you grow a cabbage here and you cut off the head when it forms and leave those roots in the ground, you will normally get 4 small cabbages off the leaves that you leave behind. If you just cut it right under the main head, every leaf bract that you leave under there is going to produce a nice small cabbage that's about 4 times the size of a Brussels sprout. Very tasty little cabbages. Very nice steamed. Broccoli here, it's really hard to get it to form a big chunky head, and I spoke to this about somebody before who asked me. That's like the size you see in the supermarket, unless you're injecting all kinds of fertilizer into it every day, but like they do through their irrigation systems on the farms. But if you cut off the head that you get, grow it and you cut off the head that you get, and let all the side shoots come out, every one of them is going to start to produce small broccoli clusters. And you can pick them and pick them and pick them. I've had a broccoli plant that I cut the main head off in November, and I was still going out and snipping off little broccoli shoots off of it every 2 or 3 days until June. You can get, and by which time it had a trunk this thick and it looked like a shrub. You just have to keep after it and keep pruning it. If you stop pruning it and it goes to seed, it stops producing. You want this soil over the top of these carrots to be very, very loose. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this vermiculite, and you notice that I've already got these little grooves that these seeds are in, and when I sprinkle this vermiculite, it's going to go into those grooves that the seeds are in. So immediately above the seeds, we're going to have a lot of very nice loose vermiculite. And then when I gently sprinkle the soil, which is also full of perlite and very light, sprinkle the soil over here that's only going to cover it by about 1/4 of an inch, then those very tiny seeds that we were looking at are going to be able to easily come up through this very light soil. And the vermiculite is going to help hold all the nutrients next to the seed, and it's going to help keep the soil very moist for the seed so that it can grow and sprout and be really moist as it comes up.
Go ahead.
All right, so here it is, October 6, 2012. We're starting our vegetable crop for the year, for the winter, at the Rare Fruit and Vegetable Council in Broward County. Let's see how we do.